Okay, let's be honest for a second. Managing money, it can feel like you're lost in a maze sometimes,
Yeah.
spreadsheets and interest rates and all that. Wouldn't it be great if you had like, I don't know, a guide, someone or something to help figure it all out?
You're talking about a personal AI financial advisor.
Yeah, exactly. And, well, that's what we're looking at today. We got this presentation from a tech conference. It's called The Power of AI in a New Era of Finance. It's kind of buzzword heavy, but there's some really cool ideas in here
Mhm.
about how AI could actually change how we deal with money.
No more stressing over budgets then. Sign me up for that.
Well, it's not quite that simple, but this presentation, it talks about a future where we can basically talk to our money. Like imagine a chatbot, but it really gets your finances, It can actually give you personalized advice. They even gave it a name, this hypothetical AI, they're calling it Ben.
Ben, huh? Okay, now you've got me interested. But haven't we heard this all before? I mean, chatbots are everywhere, and most of them aren't that great, let's be real.
I get it, totally. But this presentation, it addresses that. It says that the chatbots we've seen, they're like glorified FAQ pages. They can tell you your balance, but that's about it.
So what's different now? Why is talking to your money any different?
They're talking about LLMs, large language models. They're way more advanced than old chatbots.
Okay, so how do those work? LLMs.
Think of it like this. Those old chatbots, it's like they had a tiny vocabulary. LLMs, they've been trained on tons of data, like a huge library. They understand how language actually works.
So they're not just spitting out canned responses. They get my situation, my finances, and give advice based on that.
Exactly. Imagine you're at the grocery store,
Mm.
right? And prices are high. You mentioned this to Ben, your AI, and it's already keeping track of your spending, comparing it to like market trends, inflation, and it might suggest, hey, maybe try this other store. Or, did you know these items are cheaper at this other place? Things like that.
Okay, now that's helpful. That's actually useful, not just telling me I spend too much on takeout.
And it's not just about budgeting. This presentation talks about how this tech could make investing less scary, you know, especially with inflation and everything. It could look at how much risk you're okay with, what your goals are, and then suggest investments. It could even automate some of that for you based on what you want to achieve.
That does sound amazing, but where do we even begin? What's the first step to, like, making this AI financial advisor a real thing?
Well, any good advisor needs information, right? The presentation calls it giving your AI, like the financial facts of life. And it starts with something pretty basic. Download your banking data.
Wait, seriously, that's it? I just, like, hand over years of maybe not so great spending to some AI?
Pretty much. Most banks let you download your transaction history. It's usually a CSV file, like a spreadsheet. Some even have APIs.
APIs, now that sounds complicated.
Yeah, it sounds techy, but it's not that bad. It's basically like connecting your bank to an app, like Mint or something. The presentation really focuses on making this easy, even if you're not a programmer or anything. So yeah, that raw data, that's step one.
Okay, but then what? I download all my transactions, and then what does the AI do? Just, like, drowns in all that data.
Not quite. That's where these LLMs really shine. The presentation talks about categorizing data. That's really important.
Categorizing. So, like, labeling everything, rent, groceries, online shopping splurges, all that.
You got it. It seems simple, but that step is what lets the AI figure out your spending habits.
Yeah.
And it's not just for a budget chart or anything.
Yeah.
It's teaching the AI about your, I guess, your financial personality. Like the presentation gives the example of streaming. What if you have a bunch of streaming services, but you only use a few? It could say, hey, maybe save some money, cancel these other ones.
Okay, that's kind of creepy how much our spending says about us, but also really cool. Imagine having that kind of insight.
Right. And that's just the start. Once this
Mhm.
AI, this Ben, really understands how you spend, it can do so much more. It's like going from an advisor who just sees numbers to one who really gets you, gets your lifestyle, what you want to achieve. And that's where things get really interesting. So we've given Ben, our AI advisor, a crash course in our spending habits. What happens now?
Now, the fun part, the presentation, it says this data, how we categorize it, that's what lets Ben give us real advice. Remember we were talking about feeling lost in the maze of financial stuff?
Yeah, definitely.
It's like Ben becomes a GPS for that maze.
Okay, I like that. But what does that look like, actually? Help me out here. Am I still stuck with spreadsheets?
No, that's the point. It's going beyond that. The presentation says Ben analyzes everything, like your patterns, how much money's coming in and out. It could even warn you about problems before they happen, you know?
You mean like those times you realize you overspent and now you got to scramble to make rent?
Exactly. Ben could help you see that coming, and then you can adjust. No more last-minute panic.
That would be a lifesaver, honestly. Especially for someone like me. I tend to, uh, well, let's just say I make impulse purchases sometimes.
Mm.
But this still seems complicated to set up. Do I need to learn how to code to get my own Ben going?
That's what's cool. They talk about no-code tools in this presentation. Things like Airtable, Zapier, Make.com.
I've heard of those, yeah, vaguely.
For like visual ways to build stuff without any actual coding. Drag and drop, make a flow chart for your money, basically.
Wait, so I could maybe build my own Ben, my own personal finance AI, without needing to be like a computer science whiz.
That's the idea they're pushing, giving people the power to handle their money and their data, themselves. You set it up to grab your transactions, put them in the right categories, even look at investments, all with these easier tools.
This is way more than I expected. I thought this was just for Wall Street, the big players. This makes it feel, I don't know, possible for regular people.
Right. And if you don't have time to build it yourself, they mention a service, Money Garden Class FY API. Sounds like it might already be doing that categorizing part for you.
Interesting. Okay, so we fed Ben all this data, it's finding patterns, all that. But how do I talk to it? Am I like typing in commands? Because that doesn't sound user-friendly at all.
They're not wrong. Who wants to talk to their money like it's some old computer, right? The presentation, it really stresses that how we interact with this AI is important. It's that whole talk to your money thing, but for real this time. So they get into chatbots.
Chatbots, okay. Now we're talking.
Yeah.
But are these like the smart kind? Can I ask them anything? Or is it still, what's my balance, basic?
They talk about two main ways these chatbots work. One is R, which stands for something complicated, but basically think of it like this. Remember searching through your bank statements for one specific thing, and it takes forever. RG is the AI that finds it instantly. It grabs the right info from all that categorized data we talked about and then explains it to you like normally.
So I could say, hey, Ben, how much did I spend on tacos last month? And it would actually tell me.
Exactly. And it gets even cooler. The other approach, they're calling them AI agents. Imagine these like specialized AIs, and the chatbot can use them to do specific tasks, like having a whole team of experts, but it's all AI.
A whole team. So it's not just Ben. It's like Ben and associates now.
Right. So say you ask your AI, how should I invest my savings? Instead of trying to do everything, Ben, the chatbot, might hand that question off to the AI agent who's amazing at investments. It's like having an expert behind the scenes, crunching numbers, looking at the market, all to give you the best answer for you.
Okay, hold on. I need to process all this. We went from like basic budgeting apps to AI that can analyze my spending habits, predict my cash flow, and even give investment advice.
A lot to take in, right. And the thing is, this isn't some far-off future. This presentation, they made it clear this tech is being developed now. There are companies already building this stuff.
So this isn't decades away. This could be something people use like soon, not just, Wall Street.
That's the point they're making. It's not just about the tech, it's about it being accessible. That's what's really exciting. This knowledge, it's becoming available to everyone.
I'm definitely seeing things differently after this deep dive. This presentation, it wasn't just information. It was, I don't know, kind of inspiring. Like the future of finance, it's not just about numbers. It's about using this technology to make better decisions, to reach your goals.
And that's a powerful thought, isn't it? This is happening. The question is, what will you do with it? They even talked about careers, business opportunities, all this. Imagine being part of this change, building those tools that let people control their money.
This has been eye-opening, I gotta say. We went from feeling overwhelmed by finances to like picturing a future where AI helps us manage everything, maybe even makes it fun, who knows?
Maybe we'll all be talking to our money sooner than we think.